You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal
from somewhere beyond the status quo,
here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. Everyone wants to get high performance, maximum performance, 10x their performance. How do we get from where we are to where we want to be, and how do we overcome all of those obstacles in our way? A lot of people are finding that it makes sense to reach out and to get help from a coach, especially from a coach who has gone through personal and professional experiences, has faced and overcome adversities, and can really support you in authentic connection and relatability. That is today's guest. A description of her as I welcome Anna Lioi to the program. She is a certified coach and has extensive studies in human behavior. For the last 17 years, she has empowered her clients to be powerful and to break through their fears, blocks, and limitations to attain their highest aspirations and dreams. Anna, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Oh, hello, Ralph. It's an honor to be here.
And you're joining us from the beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful part of the country up there in Canada. Thank you for speaking with us and sharing with us your story and how you got into coaching. Why don't we start there? Tell us a little bit more about you and what got you interested in coaching to begin with.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and it's a great question because I think I was born interested and as a dreamer and a really goal-oriented person. So, like, since I was a little girl, I always had dreams and I had goals, and I always found strategies to achieve what I wanted. But I grew up in a family that didn't give me a lot of support on that. So I had a father that was amazing. Like, he was a really good, anchor for me. And he always told me my whole life, anything you want to do in life, you can, but you need to find your own strategy. So I think this, put in my head, I want something, so I need to find a way to get it. So when I started setting goals in my life and surprisingly, like, achieving, every single goal I had until, I reached a point in my life that I had to start working at 16. I had to, support myself financially. And I kind of put all of this, like, if I can use a metaphor, but I put all of this inside a jar, the dreamer and the go-getter. And I started, to see life in a survival way. You need to make money, you need to sustain yourself. And I kept going like this for a while, actually, until I was 22, and I met my husband back in Brazil. So we decided to get married, young age. And we reached the point that he was severely depressed, and, we had to do something to change. So luckily, he did high school in Canada, and he was a Canadian citizen for a long time. So we decided to move to a new country, that was Canada. So I came to this country, with no English, knowing anyone, not having any knowledge about the culture or anything. And that's how I started taking that Anna, the dreamer, the goal-oriented person, outside of the jar. So, and then, I had to learn English, and I was so obsessed about learning the language, and being able to work here, that I actually used to take the bus and sit on the front seat and talk to the bus driver and ask him, what's this, what's that, and I ended up learning English in 3 months, and, we're starting to work in Canada. So it's been a good journey.
Wow, that's amazing. And how long ago, how many years ago was it that you made that life change?
I moved to Canada in 1996, so I would say 28 years old.
Wow. Okay. Perfect. So, so you learned how to set goals, how to achieve them. You've been very successful. What got you interested in helping other people to do that?
Yeah, the journey started when I finished college here in Canada as a web designer. And I was hired by a self-development company, like to do web design. And it was a transformational company. They had seminars, camps, and a lot of self-development. Like on my third week as a web designer, I said, that's not what I want. I want to help people. I want to become a trainer and a coach. So that's why I started doing all my certifications, my studies and everything. So it was kind of a really holistic way that, I found myself, following that path.
So how did you get started when someone gets this idea that, wow, I want to help people, I want to change the world, I want to make an impact? It can be overwhelming. What were some of the initial challenges that you ran into, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, it is overwhelming when you finish, courses and everything, and then you have to get your first client. So my first client was very interesting because, I started using my own life, experience, to help them. And I think the number one challenge is to see, what do you do and how this can reflect on the way you coach. So then you really learn to walk the talk. Like if I say something or if I advise people to do anything, it's not that coaches advise people, but you give people ideas and resources, right? And you also help them find their, the blind spots that, keep them procrastinating to achieve the life and the dreams they want.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about the people that you help. Who is a good client for you? Who's the type of person that you work with the most?
I think it's people that, that really want to do the work. People that are ready to learn and to discover themselves, and I always tell my clients, the only impossible journey is the one you never begin. So being ready to discover their purpose, to discover what's blocking them when they're feeling stuck, like to create a sense of purpose and direction. If people procrastinate, to find out what is blocking them from taking action.
Yeah. And what would you say is the biggest obstacle or the biggest barrier that most people run into when they decide, hey, I want to make a change, but I feel like I'm stuck or I'm not sure what to do? What's the biggest thing holding them back? Why is being stuck such a problem for so many people?
I think from my experience, Ralph, is lack of clarity. Lack of clarity of what they want, and actually, self-discipline, their self-belief system, like what motivates them. It comes to a point that people sometimes, and I have a great example and a great story to tell about that.
Okay.
I had a really high achiever client. He was actually from Asia, really high achiever, billionaire. And he had motivation to make money. He traveled all the time and he was always focused, in one objective. And then one day he got to the car and he was quiet. He sounds sad, and I'm kind of, what's going on? Like, what's going on today? Like, you're not the person you were all the time. And he said, Anna, I think I'm missing something, but I don't know what it is. And I started asking him questions, like how does your day look like? What do you do? And it's always about taking action, the being very ambitious. And then he opened up to me and said, my wife had a baby 4 months ago, and I don't know my child yet. And then I said, well, what direction you want to take? Like, do we want to find, the sense of purpose on that? And do we want to connect with the things you love? And, get clarity of what is, making you feel down. So, and that was a humongous breakthrough.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, it seems like that certain things happen in life that trigger us and get us to stop and pay attention to the fact that, wow, I might need to rearrange my priorities or my values are out of whack. And sometimes just getting older and experiencing different things at different ages is enough to trigger that sense that, is this all there is? I'm not happy with the way things are, but I'm not sure where to go. And that's where a coach can help give the feedback and the perspective, perhaps, that people can't always see when they're so close to the problem. Do you have a something that you could share with our listeners if they're feeling stuck and if they're lacking clarity? Do you have something you could share that would help them begin to see some progress in that area?
Yes, like usually, when you feel stuck, it's because there's some fear, right? Or you don't know what to do, or you're afraid of starting something new and not succeeding. So what I advise people to do in that case is to start getting clarity. And I think one thing that really helps is being curious. Because when you're not happy with something, you always, keep asking the why, but be curious. Like, what am I doing in my life right now? And what are the results I'm getting? Is this making me happy? Do I need to transform my journey? To do what? And visualize your life. Like you can say, but I don't like really long-term goals, like 10 years, but I say, like, how do you want to see yourself in 1 year? And why? How is that going to make you feel? And then you start to understand yourself.
Yeah, I think for a lot of I'm sorry, I talked over you. I was just commenting on what you said. I think a lot of people they're trying to get this big vision, this big purpose for like the next 10, 20 years. And I like the way you get them to kind of take a step back and think more short term, like a year from now. What would be a win for you? What would you be happy with in a year from now? Because if you go way beyond that, it can cause people just to kind of get paralyzed. It seems so big, doesn't it?
It's overwhelming. It's really overwhelming when you have like tremendous big goals and then it's a 10-year goal or 15-year goal. And then you go like, okay, so the goal is so far away. Like, how can I do small steps in order to achieve that? It becomes overwhelming and exhausting.
Yeah. So small steps.
It's just using that same, yeah. It's just using that example of the jar that I said at the beginning, like my dream and goal, like going in a jar. So when someone has a big dream or goal that they never take action about it, it's because they put inside the jar and they keep looking. So my advice would be like, take it out of the jar and bring it to life. And put inside the jar the little steps you can take and take one step out of the jar, one day at a time.
I like that, one step, one day at a time, and start building a track record of success and psychological momentum and encouragement that, yeah, I can do this. You don't have to do it all at once, but taking small steps every day. And I think the greatest value you add as a coach is being able to provide that accountability and that feedback so people don't feel like they're just kind of running in quicksand and no one really cares if they get the goal or if they don't, and they just feel like they're all along or all alone. And this is where the coaching relationship can really encourage someone to take those small steps and then see how that leads to bigger and better opportunities.
Absolutely. Because a coach will really help you define and achieve goals and objectives as a team. Yeah. I think having someone, that you can talk to, that can sometimes, tell you, hey, you look at the blind spots, you look at what you're doing, and really help people create awareness of what they're doing and what they want. And one thing that I really love, too, is always reminding them about their dreams and goals. Because people forget sometimes and they go, in different directions. And keeping them really accountable to what they tell you they want.
Yeah. Wow, that's so important. And so many times we get that vision and we're excited about it, but no one's holding us accountable for it. And we get discouraged or we get distracted and we don't take the steps we need to take every day to get to where we said we wanted to be. So, wow, so much is there. If anyone listening to this, if you're interested in finding out more about Anna and how she works with people, the website is annalioi.com. It's ANALIOI.com. And of course, we'll have that posted on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Anna, you've got some, in addition to coaching and working with people directly, you've got some pretty exciting courses on your website. Tell us a little bit about those learning opportunities you make available to people.
Yeah, absolutely. I do one-on-one coaching, the personal coaching. But some people, like to be with other people. So, and then I do have some group coaching too. And I have one amazing program is the Outdoors Adventure Experience. So I take people, to do some adventures, some outdoors, some extreme sports sometimes, to deep dive into their fears, and to make it that if I can do this, I can do anything else. So it's a really powerful process. So we begin with a 2-hour coaching, session before, and then they get connected to, their true self, and they find out what they want to break to. So, and then we do some activities like bungee jumping or zip lining, hiking, like long hikes and more. And this becomes, a life-changing experience. Because when you do something radical that you have fear, you can use as a metaphor in your life. Like, if I can do this, I can do anything.
I love that. I could see where that would really be different from the typical coaching program of just doing a coaching call once a week. That's great. That's fine. But wow, if you can add some physical activity to it, do it in a group setting, create some physical challenges and, get out into the outdoors. It's like, wow, that's like a whole experience there. So that's fantastic.
It is. It's a whole level. Yeah, absolutely. So usually I combine the personal coaching with, if people want with the outdoors adventures too.
Perfect. Well, I really enjoyed speaking with you and learning more about your journey, how you've achieved goals, and how you help other people achieve theirs. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah, but I read a quote one day that, is still with me, is that the interesting thing about coaching is that you have to trouble the comfortable and comfort the troubled.
Wow. Yeah, when you think about it, that's absolutely the case.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I love that. Comfort the troubled and trouble the comfort. The comfortable. Yeah. Wow, that's the job, isn't it? As rebelpreneurs, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, pushing the limits of our business and our personal and professional life experiences every day. Those are really powerful words to ponder. Anna Lioi, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today and for joining us on Rebelpreneur Radio. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.